lives in France. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but
No.
So there's some. This was originally written in French, and this is translated to English. So there may be some errors here, but the crimes being investigated as part of the raid are conspiracy to illegally administer an online platform, fraudulent extraction of data and forwarding information regarding the operation of an IT system, accessory to possession of pornographic materials and minors, conspiracy to act as accessory to distribution, offering, or facilitation of the aforementioned content, representative slander, i.e. maliciously making a picture of a person.
Yeah, he's getting involved with the deep faking stuff.
Yeah, and then the last one is denial of crime against humanity. The last four, it says the last four are recent and links to the Grok debacle.
Yeah, because like you can, like Grok can declothe you, right? So you can post a photo and then just say, hey Grok, here, can you change my shirt? Actually, can you make the shirt smaller? Actually, hold on, let's go to the sun, and you slowly just undress yourself to a series of prompts. So that's a thing in Grok, and they have not secured that. Like, it's kind of wild.
Well, yeah, and I think there were issues related to that and it being used to basically generate child pornography, and there wasn't enough safeguards to stop that from occurring. And I think that's still an issue that hasn't been dealt with.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we want, not too much moderation. I'm like, don't you just, hire people to make sure these things are reviewed more? Like, I remember a few years ago, Canada did an investigation on Facebook, and they found that there was only one representative who worked in Canada for all of the censorship and problems in Canada. And the guy was interviewed live on air, and he's like, yeah, it's just me. And so that kind of staff, you're not going to fix anything. Like, you're just going to, you're putting in the minimum effort. And so, in Europe, there's, a lot more, the laws for slander and so on are higher. So if you make, an image of Keir Starmer doing something stupid or whatever, or sorry, not Keir Starmer, but any of the European representatives, you can get in trouble because there's no necessarily free speech in Europe, so.
Quick shout out to Al. I'm just saying.
Alfonso's going to the atheist house.
Oh, you're black man.
Welcome, Alfonso.
Dude, the French are not fucking around. I'm kind of jealous. I wish that were the United States.
Not fucking around with what?
They just raided Elon Musk's ex-headquarters that are in France.
They've ordered to show up along with the ex-CEO to a court hearing. They want him in Paris.
On what complaint?
I think there's operating there's all that stuff about Grok and the online stuff, but there's also operating an immoral platform or an illegal platform, one of those two. They're talking, they're not charging him at the moment, they're investigating him, but they want him in Paris to answer questions directly, face to face.
Yeah. I think there's 6 different alleged crimes that they're investigating him for in France. I put a BBC link in the chat if you want to read it.
I find the little standoff telling the fact that neither of those guys is actually trying to mention each other as much lately. It's like, if a dude that just told you that you're in those files, and then the other dude had a crash out, what the level of both those dudes, it's hard to believe that there's relatively children both of them. Like, kind of makes you think there's probably content.
Yeah, it's rough.
I came up because I wanted to ask Pro. It seems like he knows. Pro, People get tickets for Epstein Island. How much are they going for?
That's a good one.
So my understanding is that Epstein Island has been turned into a tourist destination, which kind of
What you mean, like Alcatraz or something?
yeah, I think it's been purchased for the purpose of tourism. So technically, I think you can buy a ticket to Epstein Island.
What, are you turning it into a jail? Or they're into an attraction?
At least the kind of place that you go to visit. Like Alcatraz is the kind of place that you go to visit.
Oh, okay.
That's a kind of weird, morbid sort of fascination with Alcatraz. I don't really understand the allure that it seems to have.
You've never seen The Rock?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've also seen what's the other one with Clint Eastwood?
Alcatraz Island. If you've been to Alcatraz.
Like, whatever happened to Sean Connery? He just kind of seemed to drop off the face of the earth. Just like, but then you go,
If you die, then, I mean, yeah, people
How
die.
long did you wait? How long were you looking for 2 seconds? Were you looking for 2 tickets or just a solo trip?
No, the whole group.
I always want to go with at least 2. Kind of like,
style, you know what I mean?
you always want to do an Elon just kind of, like, you know, hey, I'm going to be going with my wife. Really? Dude was like, really? Is that what you want to do?
Like in the letter that Epstein wrote back to Elon, he was like, yeah, your Tulum might not be comfortable there, so,
My wife's not going to feel good about this one, big guy.
yeah. It's like, hey, nudge, wink. And I was like, yo, say word, you're getting tips from a pedophile not to freak out your wife by how fucked up the island is. I'm like, wow. That's, at least he's considerate.
That's another hint of what I'm talking about. Like, very clearly, that dude was looking to go party. Could have very easily been that he wasn't thinking anything other than, I just want to go to a place with a bunch of EV victims around, victims being adults, and victims being paid for people that you brought, as opposed to pedophilia stuff. Like, I think the pedophilia thing, like, I'm sure the masses of people early on probably didn't know that part. Because if you're just trying to run a successful business, which you want to run a business that is assuming that you were trying to, be sort of the grand architect of all bribery and that stuff. When you go with something that's a little more sustainable, like on the pecking order of sustainability, like pedophilia is like seems like some real niche kind of like heinous kind of thing that's gonna end eventually, right? If you're trying to do it sustainable, you think that's for your like cream of all customers, right? Like only for the Trumps or whatever, but maybe it's the Elons too. But just thinking that when you listen to that transaction, how that went down in the email, it sure seems like you're just looking at, hey, find me a party. He didn't say anything about checking parents. He was probably trying to find chicks, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like what you said with parties like this and hip-hop and so on and music. Like Elon used to live next to musicians, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he would go to parties on a regular basis. So I also get that you hear that this guy has amazing parties and you're like, yo, let's go to one of them. But that's post-2008, so Elon claiming to be retarded and not know how to read. Like, you know that was in the courts. And you were asking to go to that island after those things went to the courts. You don't get a pass for that. Like, you gotta cut people out who are toxic, and, it's just frustrating that that's the answer. I'm like, I'm sure I grant that answer, but it's still not a great answer.
I think Paramount's supposed to come to fly before long, and that will fly before.
Yeah, fair point.
he's dead now. But it's kind of interesting, actually, that towards the end of his career, I think The Matrix and also maybe even Lord of the Rings or something, but he passed on all these movies because he was like, I don't understand them. And then he ended up doing The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen because he's like, okay, so I passed on these other things that got really big. And then he was like, yeah, I'm never doing that again.
Relationships there, if we want to be there in 2 years, full time. So that's really it's kind of it's tough. It's tough to navigate something like.
Yeah, Netflix right now has all of the James Bond movies on them too. So as I've been working, I've been kind of going back through them. And definitely the 60s movies, there's things there that you're just like, whoa, yeah, that's from a different time, all right, holy cow.
Proper dodgy, aren't they? Some of them, yeah, proper dodgy. Thomas Jefferson, he was one of the main voices that argued against the principles of the Enlightenment. But he himself owns hundreds of slaves. So what the hell am I supposed to do? This is Jefferson.
It's even further than that because not only did he contribute to the Declaration of Independence, but then the rights of man and stuff over in France, he was hugely influential in. And then you find out not only did he own slaves, but then he took his father's wife's or his father's concubine's daughter as his own underage. Well, he couldn't marry her, but basically she was 13 when they consummated the marriage, and so he was taking his dad's concubine's daughter from another coupling, and then that was his companion for the rest of his life, and he had multiple kids with that person, and then they were still treated as slaves even though they were Jefferson's progeny. It's just crazy complicated. That's the same dude that's oh yeah, and all men are created equal. We need to think about equality. And even he was writing about towards the end of his life the time bomb that was slavery and owning people, and how it could be a poison pill for the United States.
There's more there. He wrote extensively in the Federalist Papers. There's hundreds of letters, original copies, not shreds of parchments or whatever. We have full complete copies of letters between him and Adams and a bunch of other people, Benjamin Franklin, and where he argues extensively. We have stuff with the constitutional conventions prior to 1789. He very publicly argued against slavery, but he in a lot of different ways. But he owns a lot of slaves, man.
being in class, and there was always class clowns.
What are you talking about? You talking about me?
We are talking between ourselves.
You talking to me? Why don't you talk in English? You're trying to hide
As just like he did in the destruction of the Second Temple, Christians can also be judged. Also, that's all I'm saying.
Arash has me blocked, right? He comes up here and like he didn't want to say anything. Arash like
I didn't try that pencil.
you called her pencil off? That's crazy.
No, of course not.
Yes, you did.
That's not the one.
I did send you an invite. There you go. What's up with your bus? Sound like
So how much time over here?
how you doing, bro? Pretty good. So yeah. What's up, Matan? Or Noel?
You say what out here? Apparently.
So Times also reported that Iran did shoot something at one of our ships and U.S. shot it down. I don't know how true that story is. Oh my God, not Black Rabbi again.
When was
You
this?
give me a fucking headache. Does anybody want Black Rabbi on the stage, man? It gives me a fucking headache.
He could come up for 5 minutes, bro. He ain't got no life. Like he it's the best time of the day for him. Just let him go.
למה אתה לא אוהב בטרקאפ?
It's very good Hebrew, Benyamin.
This is really terrible. Black Rabbi is the most racist person this ever. You know the most racist person on this earth. You don't think you're Black American?
Oh my God! I think I'm a human being. Anyways, the point is like
There we go.
Wait, I'm here. Reuters also reported the U.S. shoots down aggressive, in quotes, Iranian drone approaching USS Abraham Lincoln. So it's not put his finger in.
So it's confirmed.
It's confirmed. This is a major escalation.
Calm down, Rabbi. Stop breathing hard right now. I don't want you to.
Okay, here, I'm putting a story from the.
Thank you.
There you go. Bang, done.
Thank you. I'll check it out. Thank you.
This guy, Rabbi, is just waiting to see people die on a code of war and war. I'm saying you should tell you was a man of peace. It's like when your bomb drops, you come in your pants. This is a major escalation. This is a complete form of defiance and an expression of a peaceful negotiation. You have no choice but to strike.
Intensive process to kind of select that's on campus.
They trying to kill millions of soldiers today. I'm appalled. I'm upset. I'm incensed. I'm enraged.
Any more? Did anything change in your health? Are you still eating French fries?
I just never seen this shit.
He's chicken every day. I can't believe this.
And popcorn too.
So in other words, you're not sad. You just go sugar.
What is sad? You're talking about me. No. There's no sad about other things.
express your thoughts, assuming 100% that they fired a drone at U.S. as Abraham Lincoln to kill American soldiers and to take down and enable a crowd as an American citizen. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel? I feel America is occupying the sea. They bring the warship back. We don't have to fight this anymore.
No. Okay, that's fine. But America was firing them.
They are in international waters. I don't know how you occupy international waters.
Let me check the laws of this international water claim.
They're in the Persian Gulf, right?
Yeah. 12 miles outside of it.
So you think if another country would place their warships in international waters, most of America would think it was cool? Russia?
No. Yeah, actually it happened last year. The Russians floated an armada, in Cuba, including a tugboat. They do it all the time. Nothing we can do about it. They send submarines off the East Coast, off of Washington, D.C. They do it all the time. Nothing we can do.
So it says it cannot do it legally. The U.S. cannot legally occupy international water, Diego.
They can transit international. No, that's incorrect.
It says cannot legally occupy Persian Gulf waters as occupation implies sovereign control over foreign territory.
They never claimed to have that. They never said they had claim over the Persian Gulf. They have warships.
So then why are they occupying it?
How they occupy it? The issue is not occupying. The issue is
parking your warship on it. You're occupying it.
They're always moving. They're never occupying it because that would make them sitting ducks. They're always moving.
Let me see.
It's like when they do what do they call freedom of navigation through the South China Sea. They go right through the South China Sea and China can't say anything about it. Russians fly bombers off of Alaska. We can't do anything other than, send up some planes and say, time to go back home. And eventually they do when they get close enough.
This is a major escalation. We should not accept this. We should be enraged and incensed. Iran has attacked the United States aircraft with the aircraft. And Amir won't even denounce it. And he says he's an American citizen.
Denounce what?
Denounce Iranians attacking these naval air destroyers.
Okay, who's sanctioned
They're firing.
Who's a threat? Who did the attack on their nuclear facility? Did Iran do the attack in American soil?
They call peace. They call it into the war. Everyone agreed.
You're just an idiot, man. Like, seriously, you can't even think outside the box. There's no logical argument here.
America was fired up. He said you're an American citizen. You're more loyal to the terrorists than you are.
Screw his toes, by the way. Anybody want to come up with some Pakistani thing, bro? There we go. His freaking screw is loose.
I went to the doctor. But yeah.
What did you say, Pakistan?
I said, how are you, brother? I'm okay. I went to the doctor today, but, I'm okay.
You okay? I'm just okay. Yeah, I'm just talking to this retards every day, day in, day out. Hey, he doesn't want to change. Like, he's such an idiot. He impregnated some girl, some chick inside Israel, and then he said his mom's going to come over, and, maybe... he fornicated with some woman, not abiding by the Jewish law, not the Jewish law. So do they stone you, Rabbi?
Amir, I would like to know, what kind of chicks goes and lays down with their rabbi? Isn't that Doesn't sound like that.
I think it was one of the students, right, Rabbi?
She's imaginary. She's not
I'm just
real.
saying, it doesn't sound like somebody you would introduce to your mom. Like, she laid down with the rabbi. Like, it's not the first time she lays down with a
Bob
rabbi.
said he says his girlfriend is a supermodel.
If I was you, I would be worried, bro. I'd be laying down with her crying. Like,
He's imaginary.
she's saying the same thing with her rabbi.
Yeah, he going after white chicks.
Said that.
Give me some advice, bro. Like if you're trying to wipe something up, like don't shoot somebody that was laid down with any man. Like that's not a good look. You know what I mean? Just try to get somebody that at least wait until she's married. So you know what she's a good girl. I mean, can't make the whole housewife, you know. It's kind of like that song, you know. It's just your life, whatever makes you happy, man. Like some people like freaky chicks. You ain't got no kids yet, man. But you need to know if it's yours. If I was you, I would wait. Don't tell anybody. Get a DNA test, and then, you know, then you could, start bragging. Until now, just lay down. No, I'll congratulate you, bro. I will. That's first, bro. The next station is. I don't want to see you on Maury. That's his name, right? Maury.
Oh, you on a train, Rabbi? Do you get a senior discount on the train?
I think he sits in the back of the bus, right?
Yeah, you get a senior discount.
I never lived in my country, unfortunately.
Rabbi Chagall Matur.
Vlog brother, mute yourself. I'll mute you.
Anyways,
So many other, what?
You didn't pay for your ticket,
English.
Rabbi, you didn't pay for your ticket, man. Like, you need to. These guys going over there just hopping over them shits and buses illegally. Like, come on, bro. You're already in a bad situation, man. It's a major escalation. You ready for the missiles? Is that what you're saying? If that's what God wants. Did you pack your bags? Everybody ready? Nobody's packing bags. The Pampers is ready? Everything ready? I made for war. Not like you. You couldn't even run. Dude, if somebody came to chase you, you die, bro. What are you talking about? I'm in that world, like, you don't know about that, like, bro, you know about your European life, a little comfy reality, you have headlines on the day, look at this Caliban, you get headlines on the day, the Fresh Prince, you go to protest, you got your Fresh Prince for television, bro. What's that guy? Uncle Phil, that's you, bro. Yeah, bro, you look like bro, you don't know about this world, like, fall back, bro. Fall back, bro. You don't know about this world, like, bro. Know what Israel was. You know about that country life.
pictures. Look at the pictures.
Yeah, hundreds of
Enjoy.
Western
Put on your first slipper. Put on your first slippers.
What is the version of
Put on your first slippers and your nice cable, and your flat screen TV. You know, and that's what you got. I get it.
So,
well, it's your life.
So, question for Black Rabbi. Black Rabbi, I heard the yeshiva runs a foundation, right? Do you have like a non-profit account in the bank?
Mary, you asked me too many questions, man. Why you gotta know my personal details? Come on, so much.
Okay. The reason why, because me and the team looked into your credentials, right?
Yeah.
Your credentials are not in order, right?
Okay.
And it looks like we came to this conclusion that you got educated and became a rabbi from a street rabbi. Some street rabbi taught you.
What the hell's a street rabbi? What is a street rabbi?
Some idiot fuck off the street of Israel.
No, I don't know.
It was Captain Tazariak, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Me and the team, we looked into your credentials and you're running unlicensed yeshiva. Now, you're sitting over there inside Israel and you're educated with American India, right?
African too.
In Africa too. So now, and you're not paying any tax under the Israeli honor, right? Yeah. Now, if you become a citizen, you'll have to pay tax.
Yeah, 100%.
So you're defrauding the Israeli government because by living over there, making money while you're outside Israel.
He's not in the U.S. either. Except
No, but I pay a ton of money.
This can implicate you. You know that, right? This can implicate you.
no, he doesn't pay any taxes.
Do you know this, Mordecai?
Hey, the key things like this.
Do you know one report needs to go to the Israeli government about your business inside, and you will get arrested.
Oh my God. Please don't do that to me. Please don't do that to me. We already did so.
I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, please don't.
Me and the boys looked into your file, right? And your file is full of a lot of problems.
Yeah, like your taxes. Your taxes is showing like you're paying nothing.
I'm walking in the center of the universe. Show respect. I'm the center of the universe. The fact you get to hear my voice.
Dude,
You know how blessed you are to hear my voice right now?
you're on your way to the shelter.
Wait.
Be hungry.
Wait. No, I'm walking right there.
Let me have this chicken before I hit the shelter.
I'm walking right there. It's castle right now. You understand that? The fact you hear the vibrations of my voice?
On your way to the shelter, you're running.
I'm in the center of the universe, bro. Come on.
Here, you're running all the way. You're running. You're out of breath. You want to go to the shelter.
I'm walking up a hill.
Just make sure you have some chicken. It might be your last meal. Never know, bro.
Hey,
You might want to come tomorrow, you know.
go on my Instagram so you can see some pictures.
Is that how we do it?
Let me see those chickens in class.
$34, $21, $36. $29, $47, $91. $82, $88, $25.
Hey, Rabbi, don't do that again, bro. Please, you respect your privacy, okay? Because it's wrong in so many levels. Wow. can't understand. I'm sure they're probably talking smack about this woman, about me. You want to tell us what they're writing in the chat? Do you mind?
They're trashing you and writing bullshit. It's nothing. They're just trolling you.
They're triggered.
They're trying to report you to Shabak or whatever.
Okay. It's not the first time, by the way, Daniel. It's not the first time. But anyways, Emerald, did you hear about this? That they shot down some, drone or something? The U.S. did this. The Iranian drone was shot down by the U.S. warship. You heard about this?
I heard something, yeah, but we were mostly talking about there's a lot of things happening in the West Bank and Gaza to the Rafah and everything.
Yep. And Noam was making a claim that they removed the occupation. They're not occupying it. I'm like, are you for real? He asked him to read it. Even ChatGPT says he's an idiot, man. And he does it on purpose.
There was just an item on the evening news that, well, the excuse they used is that Hamas is using drones via Egypt to smuggle in weapons. So that means that Israel will have to deal with that and remain in Gaza for a few years. They basically declared it occupied. Nothing that we didn't know, right? We have satellite images of them building bases there for months now, so it's not exactly big. It's not exactly groundbreaking news.
I got you. So, how do you suggest we can offer therapy? The Zionists and the Pahlavi supporters.
I think that the biggest question is how do you get them to acknowledge reality? And snap out of their God complex.
You want to come up, Daniel, and tell us what Emerald is asking? No? Hey, what's up, Ace?
By the way, an 8-month-old baby died in north of Hebron about an hour ago from suffocation of tear gas.
It's crazy.
And there's some sort of special forces in Jericho. Something's happened in Jericho as well that we're not really sure. Oh, and by the way, Amir, I sent you the Wafa tweet, and they hit everything about the PLO election, and they actually give a detailed PLO, PA, Fatah, so everything we tried to figure it out.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, it says latest news is woman and child killed by Israeli fire.
Oh, the mother died too.
In Gaza, yeah.
No, that's Gaza. That's something else. No, yeah. I'm talking about the baby in the West Bank.
The West Bank.
In Hebron.
Hebron, okay.
I think I saw Clay's report about half an hour ago.
Yeah, there was Israeli colonists attacked miner in southern Hebron. Is that the one you're talking about?
No. About an hour ago, an 8-month-old baby died of tear gas suffocation.
Well, 1,872 attacks perpetrated by Israeli occupation forces and colonists in January 2026.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The Ramallah, February 3, Wafa, the head of the Colonization and War Resistance Commission, Moed Shaban, declared that the Israeli occupation carried out 1,872 attacks during January 2026. Shaban pointed out in the monthly report of the Commission violations of the Israeli occupation state colonizers in the occupied Palestinian territories that at the Israeli occupation wars, carried out 1,404 attacks, while the colonizers carried out 468 attacks. And these violations were concentrated in Hebron governorate, which witnessed 450 attacks, followed by Ramallah and El Beir governorate, which was subjected to 374 attacks, and the Nablus governorate, where 328 attacks were recorded. Meanwhile, 201 attacks were recorded in Jerusalem. These people are fucking sick as fuck. And in Hebron, they even destroyed the distribution of the damage was as follows: 750 trees in Hebron, 245 trees in Ramallah, and Al-Bera, 250 trees in Nablus. In addition to the Israeli occupation, destroyed 151,000 tobacco seedings belonging to citizens in Jenin governorate. Wow.
Good for everybody that wants to tweet from the Palestinian government about the elections of the PLO.
And then the Twitter link that you just texted me, okay. Mahmoud Abbas issued a presidential decree calling on the Palestinian people, both in the homeland and in the diaspora, to participate in the elections of the Palestinian National Council on November 1st, 2026. We're going to have to wait and see.
I think you may get excited about this, but I just we're done the thing with the Jewish organization in the United States. There's all this like anti-Semitism stuff on college campuses around America. And I'm actually going to do a virtual tour to different universities that I'm going to talk to African American and Latino students about the conflict over here, answering questions, and just basically telling them the perspective from spiritual perspective. So I think I'm excited about that.
You know what I actually want to see? I want to see you, that aerial character, right? And any of the freeloaders that are living inside Israel to come back to the U.S. And the reason why, because that state, right, it's not for you. You have a U.S. passport, and you don't get ability as just because you converted to Judaism. You have the right to go to Aliyah and get citizenship. I want you to come back to Los Angeles. You still have time. Just come back to Los Angeles. I've been telling you this for the past 7 or 8 months now. You still have time. Just come back.
Yeah, you should do it before
you don't run any business. You're making money virtually.
I teach credentials.
Oh, you teach virtually. You can do it out of Los Angeles.
No. I teach.
I'll help you find one.
You're not listening. I teach in yeshiva here in the country. Every morning I teach here.
Oh, you can teach them in yeshiva here in Los Angeles.
No, I teach here in Jerusalem.
You can teach them here. You can convert to people to Judaism. Teach them, educate them. Some of these people, they need education.
I don't do conversion.
Okay, forget the conversion. You can teach them here in California, Los Angeles.
My kids are gonna go up here.
We can set up a synagogue in Crenshaw or wherever the fuck you live.
Crenshaw.
Or Compton. I live in Compton. Maybe we can set up a fucking thing in Compton. No, he's got a property in Crenshaw back. Not you.
Either way.
He told me himself he's got a property in Crenshaw.
He's got property other places too.
Yeah, you have property. Buttercup are both Canadian and American, 2 passports. We can open up a little small, mini synagogue or the teaching place, and you can teach them. We can get a little place. It's like $500 a month. $500 a month. You can invite people to learn about, the Judaism.
That's what I'm here for.
Shai, stop saying racist shit in the chat, otherwise I will kick you out. Just like the N-word, I don't allow any racist slurs, okay? Last warning.
Where were you? You say the worst things.
Because I don't like racist shit, right? In my room, I'm trying to keep it clean all the way.
Anyways, the key point is, if you lived in Israel and you saw how beautiful it is, how beautiful the people are, you wouldn't want to be in America. I'm just saying, so if you saw beautiful Israel and beautiful people, and not people like this liberals, but like the normal Israelis, that like normal people that love their country and love other Jews, that dynamic, you wouldn't want to leave. This is the best. The wine is amazing, the food's amazing, the energy's amazing. You're in the center of the most holy place in the entire world.
What about the okay?
Yeah, you'll be happy.
Hold on, let's compare. So you said they love you as a Jew. What about the rights for the people that are indigenous to the land?
The ones that are here now, or the ones that are in
the ones that live in Gaza.
Okay.
The ones that live in the West Bank, the ones that live in Southeast Jerusalem, the one that live in Lebanon, the one that live inside Egypt, the one that live in Jordan, the one that live in Syria. There's a
What's your question?
My question is, why can they not allowed to come back and live over there, just like you live? You just converted to Judaism 20 years ago.
Yeah,
right? But these people, they don't have to convert. They are from that land. They're native.
I know, but they got conquered.
No, they did not get conquered. They were forcefully ethnically cleansed.
That's called being conquered.
Oh my God.
Yes or no?
That's not. Conquer meaning you conquer the land, you allow the people that are living on the land to coexist.
No, not if they're hostile.
Yes.
That's not reality. That's not reality.
That's not reality.
No, I'm just saying, that's not reality. The people got conquered, they lost their war, they got whatever you want to call it. They're not here.
But the war, it wasn't a war. 47 wasn't a war.
What was it?
47 wasn't a war. It was a partition plan. They came up with a partition plan.
Who came up with it?
The UN came up with it.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the Jews.
Who was on the UN?
The humans.
The US.
Okay, so I'm saying, but those are third parties. That's not Israel. That's not Israel.
Do you know what the US did?
It's not Israel.
Okay, Area Truman received letter bombs.
We know the story.
Received letter bombs in 1947.
Fine.
Okay. Hold on. He was part of the UN partition. He arm twisted other countries by telling them we're going to stop your aid or whatever bullshit to be part of the UN partition plan.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was a lot of pressure coming in from even in America, locally, there were lobbying groups and whatnot.
Okay, that had nothing to do with the Jewish people. They're just bystanders of the scenarios.
No, okay, so it was a recommendation. It wasn't like a mandatory thing.
Well, you guys still talk about the past.
If it wasn't mandatory, what was the need to build a state?
The point is the same.
What was the need to create a state? Why couldn't they coexist?
You asked a question.
After the white papers came out, Arabs, they did not do any attacks. There were skirmishes prior to 1939. After the fucking white papers came out, there was no skirmishes. The only thing that we were seeing was the Jewish militias attacking British men.
Why does this matter?
It does matter because every time I talk about this, it freaking bothers me. What was the fucking need to create a Jewish state in the first place?
God wanted it to happen.
God did not want it. By atheists and all the people that didn't believe in God.
Yes, he used them. He still used them. He used them.
Idiot, man, for real.
Put this way, if religious people started the country, there wouldn't be a country. It only is a country because secular, non-religious Jews who said they wanted a city, they wanted a metropolitan, a functional system. That's why you need to have an atheist, non-religious, communist, almost socialist-minded Jews build a country, because it wouldn't be a country if religious people did it. They didn't know how to build countries. They know how to pray. God knows what he's doing. He chooses the right people to fulfill the task.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm John Kitover.
I'm saying, you're not hearing what I'm saying. The religious part of the Jewish world does not know how to build a nation state. They don't know how to build a military. They don't know how to build academics. No, they didn't. It was the non-religious who knew how to do that. There would be no Israel if it wasn't for non-religious. They made the whole thing happen. They were godly. It was godly. God used them.
So if they were godly, then what was the need to create a Jewish state?
I'm sure that the children knew that came into Israel with the people. When they came into the land, God told them to wipe out everybody. So this isn't even mass. This is like a few villages, right? So I was just saying, like, when the Jews come into the land,
not few.
okay, but it's in the Torah.
It was over 500, and some of them they left out of fear because they were told, because they saw what was happening to their brothers and others.
44, 75, 78.
It's not the same.
King David dealt with politics. King Solomon was a master politician. Yeah, but that goes back. But they're prophets.
We're talking about religious.
Was David a prophet? Okay, was David a prophet?
Bro, we're talking about This is not a religious group. It's not about religion.
I'm saying to you, the prophets were also political. That's what
Every time these people they get stuck, they want to build a religious card, man.
What I'm saying is that you guys are fighting against, with ideas that were written by another man. So a man has been manipulated. Everything. There shouldn't be no, there shouldn't be religion. There shouldn't be any religion.
It's called prophecy. It's called prophecy. My God.
Manipulators.
Everything's high. My God.
And man, everything is made by man is to manipulate. It's to manipulate somebody else to believe something.
God is
You got fighting. I understand the point of view. With information that somebody else wrote for you guys to believe on.
Even the God in point. Even
you understand what
the Quran is
something a little more deeper than that.
Hey, bro. Last one, if I kick you down, we'll kick you down.
As an attorney, I fight for people.
I like you warned you about this. Stop talking about religion.
I'm not. It says it in the Quran.
You are. No, it's not. No, it doesn't.
Of course, but in the Quran.
No, it doesn't.
I read it.
Yeah, I read it. We went back and forth with that Persian lawyer the other day, and he got cooked pretty badly.
What did he say?
He got cooked. Your best friend. He's a Persian Zionist.
I know.
Yes.
Anyways, the point is just saying, the simple point is, I love you. I love all the people in the world.
I don't know.
And we need to come together for peace.
Yes.
Part of peace is Hamas disarming themselves and never coming up with it. What? Because you should, though. God's creation. Just like you are. You should love God's creation. Anyways, long story short, we gotta make peace, and we gotta bring peace to the Middle East. The good Arabs that are in Israel need to fight against the evil and the wicked, which is Hamas and PA and PLO. And you'll see it better reality. Everybody wants peace. Iran today attacked the United States and tried to kill American soldiers. That's it. You don't do that to Trump. You don't do that to Trump.
All right. Hey, what's up, Morning? You wanna say something, Morning? She left. Okay. What's up, Agenda? Did you want to speak? Any supporters would like to come up? You're welcome to come on up. This is a therapy room at the end of the day, right? Right now, me talking to Black Rabbi, he just offering us some therapy. That's about it. He's trauma dumping on us, right?
After done talking to Black Rabbi, I need some very strong drugs and recommendations.
I know. I need some as well after doing
It's not kind of it.
even the yesterday room. I had to go through therapy, this morning.
It's not kind of you, Jimmy. He's trying to bring peace together.
I still think you still have some redeemable value somewhere, somehow.
Number one, we talk about peace and love. And
Just go, stuff your face with some falafel sandwiches, okay? You're on, wait, you said you were just walking by a David Hotel?
no, it's walking and nothing.
Oh, okay. So the place for you to go to and stuff your face with some falafel sandwiches, but it's too late, I guess.
Yeah, I went to a class on chicken.
Daniel, I didn't know you believe in Mega. You believe in Mega? No, you left. Yeah. Mega, they came up with a new thing. Have you heard about it? Make Iran great again. Noam, I want to ask you a question. Did you want to destroy the Dome of the Rock? Noam?
Your eyes are getting heavy.
Noam, did you want to destroy the Dome of the Rock? Noam, pick up the phone. No. Yeah. I don't know, man. Yes, Rabbi. What do you want to say? Any Iranians want to come up? We can have some, one Iranian and one this Zionist come back. All right, then we can therapy as well. You should be called out. You should be called out of your name every time. Yeah, I mean, you know what I can see to anything? You can see it. Why'd you say yes? We fucked up. We should not have done this.
So anyway, this came out 3 hours ago. It says an American shot out. Why you say
I just said hello. That's it. I just said hello.
That's it. They bothered me.
You're a powerful man.
Even Daniel, he gets triggered by voice.
Oh, God. I was very interested in what Black Rabbi had to say.
Do you heard about the attack that happened, Edward?
No. What happened?
Yeah, the Times was reporting on this. Apparently, America shot down some drone that came from Iran.
Oh, wow. They're doing war games right next to each other. Iran is doing war games right next to the Abraham Lincoln. Iran has their carriers literally right next to them. And I don't know what psychologically what they're trying to achieve or the message they're sending, but they're literally decided to do war games right there. So
it's not gonna work out.
Oh, you think they're gonna destroy all of Iraq for a drone?
Well, they're not gonna destroy all of Iraq.
How come they haven't done so? They've been there for what is that, week? 1 week or 2 weeks now? Giving us some I can't talk because, like I said, I'm an American citizen. I'm Palestinian, and I'm not I'm not a real American like you.
Half people. Okay, that's true, but I'm saying it's still as almost an American.
That's almost an American.
A passport holder.
You're almost an American. A Canadian.
Well, we're gonna see how
No, Prince American. It was funny. That was very, very funny.
These numbers are everywhere.
The point is saying as a person with an American passport, how do you know
this all week?
U.S. legal problem?
Where's that
check on this. I don't think they fired an attack drone. I think they had a.
Hurry up and catch up.
Yeah. Let me catch up.
Passport, bro. My brother, you did get married.
Scripture says you so would like them. They alerted their own son.
You got married and then she left you, right?
You're asking questions that
No, but you did get married, right? That was your first marriage, and she left you. And then now you fornicated with this other woman, right? You made her pregnant without even getting married to it. So does a passport rule, meaning if it's like the first wife or the second wife?
Good evening, I'm John Kitover with the news. Here's what's happening.
I think we can use passport rule, especially Black Rubber, multiple times. Yeah, you're just an idiot, man. I hope you're able to look after her because I don't think you make enough money out of that. Otherwise, you I'm not gonna pray for you.
Why not?
I would actually pray that may God curse you until you come back to America.
So you'll never walk
Did you just say that?
It's not a witchcraft, it's a curse. No, that's a curse. These types of people. So this thing happened with the Iran thing, and we had the what else I shared in the chat earlier today. Oh yeah, Israel and Azerbaijan. They signed an artificial intelligence MOU in Jerusalem. So let's see what happens with that. And then you have the Erdogan meets with MBS in Saudi Arabia ahead of the U.S.-Iran nuclear talks. Apparently Erdogan is working, trying to mediate between Iran and America. So let's see.
Yeah, I'm looking at the drone thing. It doesn't say it was. It says it's a Shahed drone, but which is an attack drone. But it did. I'm asking right now. Why would Iran send one drone? And the U.S. used an F-35 to shoot down that drone, which is crazy. You don't have anti-drone technology.
This is a major explosion.
So I asked him. So this thing. Okay. GPT says intelligence gathering. What else would you send when they're And also, Iran was harassing a oil tanker that came out of the Straits of Hormuz. But at the same time, diplomatic negotiations are still ongoing. I wouldn't trust that this is an attack drone, though. That's the thing.
It was.
I wouldn't trust it. No, I wouldn't trust that because.
Why would you send any drone?
That's right. They have drones for intelligence in the air.
Why would you fire that towards neighbor Russia? Why would you do that?
I don't think it was fired at them directly, but it got too close.
Hi guys, hi Edward. Hi guys. yeah.
Oh my god. What's up, ladies? Black Rabbi's been waiting for you, ladies.
Well, I mean, these were fake lies, right? The lies. Everything you said was like, I got distracted.
The U.S. says it looked threatening.
Yeah, it was. It was coming aggressively. It was an act of war.
When old ass Shahid is threatening,
You do not throw pebbles at your daddy, okay? You do not throw pebbles at your daddy. You will have to pay for that. They want war. They want to risk their lives. Destruction. This is where they're at right now. Okay? These people are genocidal. They have no regard for human life. They killed 40,000 of their own citizens in broad daylight. And now they're firing.
The U.S. says that it did not have they didn't have any clear intent of the drone. So that's contradictory to what you said.
No, it's not clear. They said they don't have clear intent. They have somewhat intent, but it's not clear.
They have possible.
Yeah, but they know if they accept it as an act of war, that this is the beginning of a whole new reality. Trump
It's not an act of war. It's one old drone, which I'm pretty sure that it was a surveillance drone, which they have.
Trump wants peace. Americans want peace. The Israelis want peace. Okay.
Oh, really?
We want them to get rid of this ballistic missile program. We want them to completely denuclearize.
Shut up. Stop lying. Israel wants peace there.
Israel wants peace.
70,000 people. I'm sure the number is
Most of them were Hamas.
Stop lying.
Most of them were Hamas.
You're such a liar. Israel wants peace. America wants peace.
Yes, we want
For the
peace.
past 17 years, America wants the war.
You don't have to trust. This is what we want. We just want
Don't
peace.
use what's it called? This what is it called?
The bomb.
The bomb in Japan.
The hydrogen bomb, yeah.
Nuclear bomb.
And that was a long time ago. And the plans.
Every single president for the past 50 years went to war. Stop lying. It's
Obama was known as the
Hold on, guys. One thing, we all owe LaRouche an apology. She was right yesterday in regards to the PLO elections. They posted and they posted on their website a very long clarification, and she was right. It includes everybody, everyone, everywhere. They are very, very clear about it. So LaRouche was wrong. So we were all schooled by a 23-year-old brilliant young woman.
Shut up.
This is what I was trying to tell you.
She's 17, bro. She's 17 or 18.
Nice beach. So there's a reason why Palestinians from America travel to the West Bank or to other countries in order to vote in PLO elections. Like my dad is somebody who travels back and forth between the West Bank. Why? Because he wants to be able to vote in these elections. In July of 2025, my dad went, and within a week of getting there, the PLO disannounced their elections. So PLO disannounced their elections. So, but anyways, that's okay, guys.
That's okay. To bask in this for a bit, I was told this all, but also it's a good thing to read because it's very specific about when they're having the PA election, the Fatah primary and the PLO. So like it puts everything in order.
It's over.
Why are you talking? You're not interested.
Why are you talking to me, freaking loser?
Because he's a pick me, and I have to get out. I'm trying to actually have a production.
You're the one who interrupted her black rabbit.
Yeah, I mean, when I came out of the room, you were talking about you couldn't get your drone up.
Sent him down.
I hope you're done.
You're neither an Israeli or Palestinian, so shut the fuck up, black rabbit. Sorry, guys, for my language.
Genuinely, but I think like that you guys need to like start advocating for people to participate in this PLO election. I think it's like this is like Israel's one of the main objective is to prevent Palestinian unity and a Palestinian voice, and I think this is a really good opportunity. Just like, that's my 2 cents on this.
Yeah, I was looking into how you get nominated for a position.
That's a very good question.
Yeah, I'm looking into it. I would go.
One of you guys can get nominated.
I would nominate like myself. Like if I could. I mean, I don't think they would choose me for anything or I get any votes, but just to say I did something, because
Not if you support the sexual assault.
here we go.
But the thing is that even participating is putting an example, leading by example. Palestinians are a pluralistic democratic society that can have multiple opinions and still, make decisions in a united way. It's extremely important.
Yeah, taking part in the process is important to me. But Jindib, though, what do you think? Jindib, you're talking about the PNC.
Yeah, so I'll let you know that if you want to run for local elections
No, the PNC. The PLO's, the Palestinian National Council.
I'm just going to let you know what our, esteemed PA President Mahmoud Abbas did. He signed executive orders so anyone who would want to run for elections have to sign off on agreeing to the terms of the PLO being the representative of the Palestinian people, meaning that you have to say the Oslo Accords are okay, everything the PLO did or whatever the PA is doing is you have to comply with those laws. Now the PNC is a different ballgame, a different story. I don't know what the mechanisms for electing at the PNC is.
They're above the PLO, to the council. And they have the council.
Can I ask you a question? If you could change, replace the PLO, how would you change it? What would you change, and what would you put in place to represent the Palestinian voice?
Dissolve this whole entity, dissolve it, get rid of it, and have a younger generation, younger people run for office.
Is it the system, the way the system is built, or the people that are currently
No, it's pretty much how the system is built and how it has,
Can I ask what is wrong in your opinion from the system?
Well, the PLO does not represent every Palestinian. That's one. Two, the system itself has been set up in such a way where it's just another little dictatorial, regime amongst the Palestinians, and we have this character Abbas, who is propped by the Israelis and the Americans, sitting on his chair and extremely corrupt. It's just another dictatorial Arabic government.
So, your perception was the PLO always like this, from the day it was born, or was it corrupted? So, when did it shift? I'm genuinely curious. It's not from a judgmental or anything. I've never gotten a chance to ask and see from the
After the Oslo Accords, pretty much, they came. They did not come from those people who are, running the show in amongst the Palestinians in the West Bank are people who did not live amongst the Palestinians. The local Palestinians were staying on the sideline, and the whole system was set up by, Dayton, the they replicated a repressive system in which the
So
Palestinians.
you feel Arafat never represented you?
As an elected person, really no. I mean, he represented the PLO. Does the PLO represent every Palestinian? Yeah, it has been.
It's supposed to, right?
Yeah, but the PLO is supposed to be a transient organization in which things have to move on after the Oslo Accord, the so-called Oslo Accord.
Oh, okay, I get what you mean. So you mean you feel like they used the fact that they were there for temporary, and they okay,
Yeah, and things were moving along in 2006. And before that, there were local elections, and we had the legislature, like a parliament, and people voted those people in. But then, right after 2006, it was decimated. Most of its members were arrested by Israel, and Abbas came and pretty much dissolved.
do you feel that their objection to the disengagement played a part in that?
What do you mean, objection?
The PA objected to the unilateral disengagement from Gaza, right? They thought it was done over their head and that it's not done, that it's a trap. Do you think that their objection to it that contributed to them losing support?
Yeah, because
it was perceived as a political move against Hamas at the end of it.
Right, I mean, yeah, because they were, Hamas is what Hamas is, and they were engaged in doing horrible shit in the Gaza Strip, and that's why how Hamas came to power. I do not support Hamas. I'm not a big fan of Hamas as an ideological movement. I don't like their ideology. I wouldn't vote for them. They don't represent me. I'm always at odds with their ideology. But Palestinians they do not have full representation. I mean, whatever agency we have, they definitely do not represent the Palestinian people.
But that was always the case, right? It was a big part of the main thing they always tried to do is make sure Palestinians don't have a voice.
Right, but in 2000s there were elections, which were decent elections, but the issue with that is the Hamas won the majority in the legislation in the parliament, and that was to the disliking of the Americans and the Israelis. I always thought, okay, you put them in power, let them form a government. They're gonna fail, vote them out. 4 years later, you can vote them out, but if you're from the region, you see how those little dictatorial Arab leaders, how they function, how things go with them. And the PA has been a total disastrous failure. There's just a bunch of corrupt fuck-ups who just want to line their pockets.
Do you feel there's a prominent Palestinian voice that you feel you would elect as the leader?
Say that again. Say that again.
Is like somebody that you support, whether it's or God forbid the Klan, or but is there somebody that you would stand behind as a representative?
There are plenty of Palestinians.
Who would be your top candidate?
I would. But we're still under the occupation, right? So it has to be.
It's more.
I like Barouti. I like other people who are, they don't have to be, those, militant people, or they can be just anyone,
Do you think that there's any chance that there will be a support for Zacharias baby?
Support for who?
Zacharias baby.
No, I don't think so. No. I support like wide support.
If he decided to go back into politics, do you think he would gain support?
I don't think so. I mean, he's I don't know if people here know who he is, but I don't think.
I'll tell you why I asked. I was really surprised that because when they released a lot of the hostages, the Palestinian hostages, the powerful names were mostly released to foreign countries, right? To Egypt or Turkey. But for some reason, they allowed Zacharias baby back in the West Bank. And that's a guy that has leadership potential, right? And I thought that means that they're about to go after him again, because usually when they don't want somebody out, they let him out to a place where they can capture him back again a few months later. But they seem to be leaving him alone, and I'm wondering if something's up there, because he's a recognized name, at least.
He might be
prison break thing.
Yeah, but he might be
recognized. He has like star quality.
He might be a recognized name amongst the Israelis, probably, but he's not that much of a recognized.
Really? Like with the whole prison break, and he didn't get like a lot of clout.
Yeah, popular, thing, but I don't see him to be to have the qualities of leading the Palestinians. I don't really care who runs for office. It's just we don't need another Abbas. We don't need a corrupt piece of shit character. We just need someone from the neighborhood, from amongst us, who can navigate things through. But you know how hard it is to be leading a Palestinian under the Israeli occupation. Because we're not a free people. I mean, I don't really care.
No, taking any type of leadership is taking a risk with your life. Israel loves to take down anybody that has any type of clout in Palestine.
Right. So imagine this guy you mentioned, Zachary. Imagine him being winning elections amongst the Palestinians. Do you think Israel is just gonna say, "Oh, okay, yeah, let's come and talk to you"? They're just gonna kill him overnight. It's like it's a given that he would be living.
That's exactly why it didn't make sense to me, because he has that star quality, I think. But maybe I was
star quality, yes. Does he have leadership? I don't know. I mean, he could be. I don't know him very well, but I know he broke out of jail.
He was one of the names I expected Israel would want to exile. That it wouldn't want.
They kept him. They did not ditch him out of the country.
Which was very weird. Like all the other big names, they kicked out.
Yeah, they kicked out a few people. Yes, I know. I never really thought about that. I never thought why they kept him around.
Right, but do you get why it's bothering me? It feels like it's too fishy. Like it feels like we're missing something.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't. It wasn't a coincidence, These are the type of things that Israel does for a reason.
Possible. I don't really know. Very possible.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Maybe we got a little bit too detailed on stuff.
These elections here, though, are for the council over the PLO, and they help form the direction or set the agenda for the PLO. So there are new people that come on board. I think it would have a large effect on the entire organization before you even get to PA elections on the ground. Especially if we can get, a decent amount of people from, it looks like half the people are from the diaspora and half are from within Palestine. That's how it's set up. I wonder if Connecticut had that one.
Well, what happened? Moment of silence. Okay.
Something is with my thing here.
Rabbi's still in the audience, he's just annoying orange man. But let's see what happens with elections. I hope they allow the collection of the
results from East Jerusalem, because Israel is just something else.
Why do I have a hand raised queue? I'm not a mod.
But you are Edward.
The Great.
You are the Great.
But that's weird.
You are a mod.
I'm not a mod.
No, he's not.
Yeah, you are.
Alright.
You never made you a mod.
I'm gonna come right back and see what happened. This happened yesterday too in a different room. And the app always ends up crashing. Let me put myself down. I'm gonna put myself down and bring myself up. Oh wow, I can't even click on my name. Okay. Let me get up.
I plan to move to Gaza with my family.
Oh, for fuck's sake, really? Really? You're just a bad person. You're just a fucking bad person.
You're self-righteous. You think you're on some righteous trip because you're like.
Do you know that yesterday? Do you know that when people returned to Gaza yesterday and today, and one of the situations, a little girl was coming back with her family, and IDF refused to allow her to take her toy with her. The only thing she brought with her, and she was literally crying her little heart out, begging for the toy back, and they said no. But you want to go to Gaza? Vile, you're such a piece of shit.
Emerald, this is how fucking vile these fuckers are. The one little thing that this little girl has is her toy, a piece of solace, and takes it away. Listen, you black fucking rabbi bitch, shut the fuck up. No talking to you. I called you Black Rabbi. Isn't that your fucking name? I said black fucking rabbi bitch.
She was crying so hard. She just wanted her fucking toy.
The one thing that somebody has, they want to.
It's more than that, though. They feed off of children's fear.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's like gas for them. Clearly, Black Rabbi
Life for
care about children, or he would have wiped up his pregnant girlfriend, right?
Yeah, it's true. He turned the conversation completely, and we took a moment to acknowledge how vile people are. But then again, this guy's a Trump supporter too.
You know where you're wrong, Warning? To them, they're not children. They're not human.
No, they are. They are children. They target children. No. They target children. You wouldn't have snipers. You were arguing this point the other day about a sniper who had bullets in a child's head.
You're not listening to me.
They target children. No, I'm hearing you, but you're not going to downplay what it is. They target children specifically. So please, when you speak about children and Zionists attacking children, it is children that they're after. They don't care about adults or anything like that. It's the children, obviously, or else they wouldn't arrest children for throwing rocks.
Okay, but you don't. But I was trying to explain is that they don't view them as human children. They view them
What
as
you're
less.
trying to explain is something that it's not, and they are targeting children. That's fine that you believe what you believe, but what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've been researching lately is they're targeting children specifically. Why? Because they're innocent. They have no sin, right? Oh, the sin is throwing a rock? Yeah, right. They want to steal that innocence. They want to harvest their fear. They're doing satanic rituals with innocent children. And according to Oprah, letting Oprah, do Oprah's thing, there was this problem way back in the 80s. And people were not talking about it, and it was silenced. And it's interesting how quickly things get silenced, and people get paid to keep their mouth shut. It's really important that we acknowledge that Zionists are targeting children. So thank you, Emerald, for saying that they don't see them as children, but they do. they target them. They have a big target on their back, and snipers are actually shooting them in the head. You argued this point. Matter of fact, how do you feel about that, B-Rabbit, Mr. Black Rabbi? How do you feel about that woman going on Oprah and talking about how Jewish people were sacrificing children and eating them? And how do you feel about the Epstein files that talks about children being ate with cream cheese? How do you feel about that?
You officially put yourself into the crazy. You're a crazy person just saying these things.
Yeah, we're only crazy until someone actually shows proof of it, right? Go search the Epstein files yourself.
The kind of people who support this movement, right? It's easy to blame Jews, pick on the minority, the smallest.
You know what? You know when they gaslight me, you're not gonna do that. Because the funny thing is that you try to twist people's words to make yourself look good when all you've done is denounced your own country, America, right, where you're from, your American blood in your veins, and now you're over there trying to act holier than thou, holier than your own freaking community. So let me ask you a question, since you won't answer that question, which all Zionists do. Who do you choose? Martin Luther King or Malcolm X?
Netanyahu.
Yeah, exactly.
Netanyahu is probably one of the greatest leaders of this generation. World leaders, and he's saving more Muslim lives than any man probably ever to walk face of this earth. He's destroying all the enemies of Islam.
You know, people like you are gonna have hell to pay when what you talk about, your Messiah comes, right? You know, it's interesting because when the karma comes, we'll see who's left. And if it's not in this realm, it'll be when you die, and you'll face your maker. You will face your maker, and you will be weighed by the salt that you have endured for other people's tears. And the more you talk, the more you sound ridiculous. And it's disgusting. People like you are allowed to have this platform.
No witchcraft. Please stop it. No witchcraft. God wanted Israel and Satan.
Okay, you said all that. At what cost, though? At what cost? You're just okay with children dying? You're okay with a genocide? So that what, your Messiah can come back and what everyone else perishes because you're better than everybody else? This kid with your down your nose judging people. You're sick, you're demonic, and I pray for you because you will have hell to pay. Trust me, you will have hell to pay.
Thank you for praying for me. I appreciate that. The point is saying, if you believe in God and you believe in peace on earth, you'll be demanding that Hamas is removed from.
The funny thing is you spew that propaganda, Hamas. It hits me with that bullshit. Okay? It's used as a manipulation for the people, and clearly you're delusional and manipulated for who you are and what you stand for, and every word out of your dick. You're fake, you're delusional, and you're crazy. You're just crazy, Black Rabbi. You really are. B-Rabbit in its finest glory. The fact that you're okay, your own child growing up without a father, right? Yeah. So much for your family values, right?
Why are you attacking me personally?
Attacking you? Oh, suddenly you get rid of Arafat. And there will be a revolution that pulls the rug out from underneath you. And then the Zionists that are controlling all this and puppeteering all this, what is that for the innocent Jewish people that actually believe in what they believe in? Because there is a difference. There is a huge difference. Because I've met with a woman with a tattoo on her arm that is Jewish, and she doesn't agree with anything that's going on. So I'd like to hear you. You speak for her too? You speak for her? Right. Right. You speak for her. And the funny thing is she talks about people of color who are Jewish and how it's interesting to her that they believe the narrative because we've talked about you. She's heard about you. And she thinks that it's funny to her because in their belief, what you were talking about, you're crazy. You're crazy, Black Rabbi. You really are. And the fact that you believe your own narrative just makes it even more dangerous. And there it is, the plug, because it's all about money to you people, right? All you care about is money and real estate. And the fact that you yourself are talking about living in Gaza with your family.
I'm going to bring peace.
Bring peace.
Yeah.
What does peace even mean to you? What does peace even mean to you? Oh, okay, there it is, circling back. So you chose up. You chose up. That's okay. It's all about the money. But guess what? Money can't buy you into heaven, bro. You can't buy your way into heaven. You can't manipulate God. So think about that when you go to bed. Think about the fact that you can't manipulate God. When you pass over and when you die, you will be rolling over in your grave. Because the funny thing is you think you know everything and you think you're right. But you'll be weighed, bro. Salt and tears. You'll be weighed.
Like I said, we're going to fix this issue. We just need to get rid of Hamas. They need to disarm.
Stop the propaganda. Stop the bullshit. Stop the lies. Talk about what it really is. It's about real estate and resources. Nobody cares about your I bring peace. Whatever, bro.
Bro, listen, we need to disarm Israel. You're crazy?
That's never going to happen. So figure out another strategy.
Yeah, so why they saying they're gonna honor Hamas? And they will never do that. They can't even do that.
A lot more people are going to die then.
What?
A lot more people are going to die.
Yeah, but we will win the war.
Well, the question is disarm Israel.
Hold on for it.
Yeah, you might win this battle, but we will win the war. Black Russians.
There's going to be a lot of Hamas people that are going to die every day.
Hamas is not people. Hamas is more than just that. We're all Hamas. We're all. I hope so. Me and I hope my future kids as well.
Yeah, you're from Iraq. But the point is the same.
You don't have to divide us. We're all one.
You live in a fantasy. You wish you're Palestinian.
Yeah, I wish I was in Palestine to come and kick your balls. You don't have balls, sorry.
Why are you violent?
Shut the fuck up, Black Russian.
We're speaking about violence, are you crazy?
No, but she's talking about violence towards me. I'm like a pure angel.
A pure angel?
Yeah.
You're a computer agent.
Anyways, the point is the same. If you want peace in that region, tell Hamas to disarm. That's all you got to do.
No, I'm not going to disarm.
And all violence stops immediately.
You know, no, listen. Tell that if disarm immediately.
Alright, so more people are going to die, I guess, unfortunately.
Yeah, people is going to die.
There won't be enough.
On both sides, though.
In the past 2 years, they killed, 71,000 people, if not more. But believe me, just in 2025, we've had 60,000 newborn babies. Just in Gaza, so.
Okay, so you know.
Don't worry.
Yeah, you keep slaughtering the children.
Coming out, folks. I know I look like a cross.
That's what you want. Just
No, headed to the polls today for Ohio's March primary. You have the choice to stop killing people.
Well, introduce the future vote 3,000. It's the first. You said 71,000 people died.
You killed, not died. Were killed.
No, and you said, guess what? 60,000 new babies were born.
Yeah. In 2025.
This is how sick your culture.
No, this is how we survive. We're resistant. We survive.
You want your
We
children.
survive. We survive.
You want your children to die, so you have.
No, we don't want our children to die. But if you want to kill our children, we're gonna have more children.
Okay, well, this is just simple Arab logic, and I get it. And just know, the most unsophisticated American is more smarter than all you people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You guys are barbarous. You want to see your children die?
No, you're killing our children. You want to see our children die. You say our children are not innocent.
No,
You say children are Hamas.
You train to be terrorists.
No, we're not training anyone to be terrorists. We're training everyone to be resistant.
And to hate Jews and to hate America, and you call it resistance.
Just a second. I don't know if Amir is here. Rhea, Bia. I cannot invite you again. I've already invited you multiple times. Let me see.
He's also that smart guy.
Hold on. Let me. Everyone not needed. Okay, you can try to come up now. See if you can. Rhea, Bia. It's the app because I turned off hand raising. You can just come up.
She's not that smart, man. She's hard for her to work technology. She's an older woman.
Me, I'm 33. I'm like half your age. Black Russians.
No, you're not half my age.
I'm half your age.
I would never date a girl your age. Just saying that.
I would never date a stupid person like you. You're a moron. You're a clown. I would never date a clown like you. And I'm married. Don't worry.
You have gray hairs. He's sick of you. It's clear.
I have gray hair? Even if I had gray hair, what's wrong with having gray hair? Your mom has gray hair. I'm not old. Did you see my gray hair?
Do you know why the black rapper would look in the mirror in the morning?
Hi, how are you doing?
He'd be scared.
Yeah, he gets very, very scared.
Yeah.
You're too ugly, dude. Rabbi, you're ugly. You really are ugly. You know you're ugly, right?
Hey, buddy, I'm a black rapper. Black rapper, my twist. Hey, how you doing, Fire? Doing good. Black rapper, why? Here's my question. What's the point of the provocation towards the Palestinians when the people that you're representing don't even like those Jewish motherfuckers do not like black people. Okay. And obviously, they have those black people over there in fucking nuclear plants and shit. Like anything beyond the River Jordan, they're doing them pretty dirty, right? But for whatever reason, it just seems like you're identifying with the people that's oppressing your people. Can you explain to me why?
Bro, I'm just saying at the end of the day, you need to repent in front of God for speaking 66 about the Jewish people. You need to repent immediately.
So coming out, folks, I know I look like a cross between a newborn and a retired biker. It's the only combo that comes with its own sunscreen. I was recording a video in the shower earlier because that's where all great decisions happen, and someone messaged me. So coming out, folks, I know I look like a cross between a newborn and a retired biker. It's the only combo that comes with its own sunscreen. I was recording a video in the shower earlier because that's where all great decisions happen, and someone...
How did he speak with
Allow me to introduce the future vote 3000. It's the first only machine with a built-in
Headed to the polls today for Ohio's March primary. The Cedar Ridge Community Center volunteered to make decisions as he can. One had two neighbors who say serving as election candidates is their way of giving back. Our job is to check IDs headed to the polls.
Coming out, folks, I know I look like...
And I'll stand at 200 for the open machine. Just 3 minutes even.
Speaks with us was so. I mean, he may have mommy issues. You record this in the game. Has a recording that picked up. So a sweet princess. Let's not talk to this scumbag. So that's what's happened. He's actually very, very, down. This completely downtrodden. He has nothing going for himself. So every time a female speaks, it triggered him. Either he wishes he was us, because he's got some feminine. I think he does. Yeah. Do you wish that you were us? You poor thing.
He has an imaginary girlfriend.
An imaginary child. Oh my god. I'm dying laughing right now, sorry. Anyways, moving on.
Pathetic black rap shit.
Yeah, he is. Really is. Pathetic. So-called rap.
Look, Rabbi. Look. I don't need to repent for shit. Because
Why are you so uncomfortable there? Are you in the toilet?
because I'm eating. But anyways, look,
You took the toilet, bro. This is disgusting.
no, that's your word, not mine. Listen, I don't need to repent for shit. Because I didn't do repent for what? Speaking about a bunch of fake ass items Kirk that are over there on the land. So I'm repent for shit. So they're not holy. I mean, they're doing all kinds of vile shit over there. Gay parades at Tel Aviv, and that's supposed to be holy. Motherfucker. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I know. Like, so that we've already been knowing they got released in a little file. Just sitting up here sacrificing and drinking the blood of babies and doing all kinds of fools, the same shit that they found. Back in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually last year, if I'm not mistaken. So they're finding them in the sewers and the tunnels and shit, all throughout the 5 boroughs in New York, right? With underground tunnels and fucking bloody ass baby carriages. I don't give a fuck about these goddamn people. People are devils, bro. What the fuck do I gotta repent for? They themselves, real rabbis I've encountered will tell you that they're not real Jews. They'll literally say that they're not real Jews. They know that they're perpetrating a fraud. So if that's the case, then I don't need to fucking repent of anything that I say that is inflammatory towards them, because they say a lot of inflammatory shit that's not based on any substance. So for you to sit up here and tell me to repent, and by the way, you didn't answer my question because you took the question to sit up here and insult me, ironically. But to answer your question, I don't need to repent for shit. When Christ returns, do you think what they're doing over there in Israel, on the land, defiling the land, do you really believe that Christ is coming to save those people? You understand, like that 3IA atlas or whatever, like when that thing comes down, because most likely that might be the Lord in that ship, those people have hell to pay, man. So, and if you want to sit up here and be a bitch for them, then guess what? You're gonna go down with them. So.
That's the problem with this Sharif Hassan character. He's got a beautiful name, like Sharif Hassan, right? But this idiot had to convert to whatever religion. That's fine, he could have converted, but at least it would have been, respectful to the other party, the people that are living on that land. I think, what I think? You moved over there. You didn't know what you were getting yourself involved in. Right, and slowly, you guys started to get indoctrinated, right, with this bullshit. But they told you, it's a homeland to the Jews, and it's a safe land, and it's a safe place for the Jews, and they can arrive here, they can live here, and it goes against your scripture, but you support, you support the occupation, you support the apartheid system that Israel's running off, right, and you support pretty much all this bullshit, right? And it just doesn't make sense. I don't get it, man. People like you, pieces of shit. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just a piece of shit.
Yeah, but notice, since he moved out there, he looks really depressed. He's gained even more weight. He looks fat and sloppy. He literally looks like he's melting. His eyes are black. They're barbecue. He doesn't sleep there. You can just tell he's going to hell over there. And he thinks he's going to be accepted. Listen here, tell me, Louis. What the fuck is this fat ass doing?
Right, Rabbi character, are you okay?
Did you go through this picture? Did you see the picture of him laying on the floor?
Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. We are born at a given moment in a given place, and like vintage years of wine, we have the qualities of the year and of the season in which we are born. Astrology does not lay claim to anything else. Carl Gustav Jung. How the mind can torture itself in its quest to understand the travels of the soul from life through death to life again. Tormented, the mystic asks, what is the purpose of it all? Why was I born? From whence have I come? And to where will I go when I have shed my frail earthly form? But the answers prove elusive. Instead of certainty, the mystic finds only speculation and surmise. Baffled, he struggles to recover memories of a life before birth, in the hopes that these might shed light on what transpires after death. Here again he is stymied, for like all others who move from one rebirth to the next, the mystic has first to dally in the land of the dead. There he was forced to slake his thirst from the river of forgetfulness, dissolving all memories of his previous lives before he was free to stumble blindly towards his next incarnation. This cleansing of the past goes unnoticed by most people. However, something deep within the mystic is left unsettled. He finds that his thoughts and dreams are disturbed, as if by glimpses of some long-forsaken ambition, a memory of which hovers just unseen on the very edge of his vision. In truth, the mystic does not draw as deeply from the river of forgetfulness as his less contemplative fellows, and some distant memory goads him into joining that age-old quest for meaning. The ancient Greeks realized that active self-reflection was something integral to understanding the mysteries of birth, life, and death, which would allow a person to find his appropriate place in the internal processes of the gods. Life is shrouded in a mystery. This is the fundamental fact which confronts us. We live in a cave with our backs to the light, and as Plato said, our knowledge is nothing more than the shadows which play upon its walls. The Greeks became preoccupied with this inner light, cast shadows into our reality. They summed up their quest for it with the axiom, know thyself. Inscribed in the temple of Apollo at Delphi, they believed that mankind could never fully comprehend or know the human spirit. So this axiom actually suggests learning about and controlling personal behavior in the here and now, so that a person might rise to understand his or her fate or incarnation, and in effect find unity with the gods. Similar deliberations on matters of birth, life, death, and reincarnation have taken place in most other societies and cultures. In India, the ideas solidified and became the foundation upon which the various forms of yoga are based. The Sanskrit word yoga is derived from the word yoj, which means to control, to unite. And thus the word yoga is often translated as simply meaning the art of union. Carl Gustav Jung, 1875 to 1961, the founder of modern analytical psychology, acknowledged the importance of studying yoga, but he also cautioned that the practice may not be suitable for the Western mind. He believed the yogic tendency to seek spiritual transcendence by ignoring the material side of the world was misguided, and that the purpose of incarnation was actually to gain a more intimate understanding of existence. As he wrote, there are many different kinds of yoga. Europeans often become hypnotized by it, but it is essentially Eastern. No European has the necessary patience, and it is not right for him. The more we study yoga, the more we realize how far it is from us. A European can only imitate it, and what he acquires by this is of no real interest. Jung continued, in the course of the centuries, the West will produce its own yoga. Although I am not completely in accord with Jung's assessment that Europeans have no patience, and disagree with the assertion that we get nothing of any interest out of doing this type of practice, he did make a valid point when he proposed that a new approach to the art of union is necessary for our Western archetype. He seems to suggest that psychology could play that role, but to me there is a difficulty here. In an echo of yoga, we find modern psychology preoccupied with bringing the unconscious mind to conscious awareness, whilst either downplaying the role of the body or treating it merely as a cumbersome appendage must be mastered. To me, the core premise of Western magic is that we incarnate into our body in order to gain an experience, not transcend it, and that we must examine the whole process equally. The holistic approach is surely far healthier than a fragmented one, and it is indeed the direction in which psychology has been creeping for some time. Besides being a Jungian psychologist, Dane Rudhyar, 1895 to 1985, was one of the most thoughtful practitioners of modern astrology. Reflecting on such matters, he observed that ancient Hindu yoga was based on this realization of the meaning and power of the breath, and so also, in another sense, was astrology. Astrology was the means to relate the first moment of the individualized freedom, the first breath, to the eternal cosmic process. Astrology was therefore, and can be today, a method to take the individual out of his isolation and to incorporate him into the eternal process. It is my intention to offer a fresh approach to the subject of union through the study of astrology. As mortals, we have been given clues as to how to manipulate our lower ego, so that we may surrender self without losing the overall ego, which is the driving factor we require to appreciate the experience for which we incarnated. Astrology blends together mind, body, and our reality, revealing that each is in an integral part of the other. And in so doing, it underscores the relationship between yoga refers to as the Anja and the Muladhara as being a concept that Carl Jung was starting to explore as far back as 1932. This will be discussed later in the book.
It says that they can be together with it.
Would I be as poor as someone living on a kibbutz? Probably not. That's really poor.
We're trying to help you right now.
Oh, well, are you married since you're having supposedly a baby outside of wedlock? Why aren't you married right now?
Tell me, you're working, you're doing something in your life, or your syllables from the morning till the night.
Okay, I do work. You know those little tomatoes you put in olives? You get them in olives. I stuff tomatoes and olives. I'm a olive stuffer.
You are a farmer?
No. I work in a factory. Just you put the tomatoes in the olives.
For a month?
And then put the olives in the jar.
Where is your factory? Where is it?
Not my factory.
Where is the factory you're working? Where is it?
It's in Florida.
Florida,
how about the woman?
Let's bring Ann back on now. He's a nice.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder, like, you're looking at college right now.
She just needs to keep her mouth shut.
Baby with the woman that he's not married to.
Shut
the fuck up.
Hey, Joe, why don't you shut the fuck up? Why don't you shut the fuck up, Joe?
It's not of your business.
It's your business to get me married.
You have to go to Black Rabbi bed. You have to go to bed with him.
You gotta bring that back up. This mess up.
Dialogue, you said that I was the problem to give this motherfucker attention. That I wasn't the first one to give him attention. I came in when there was a dialogue going on. When Max and Vic were trying to question him to get answers out of him because he was making awful claims. So he blamed on me, and I forget you, sir. I forget you, sir, but like you weren't reading the room.
No, you ain't gotta. You don't have to read the room at this point.
Okay.
No, this shit.
No, he's a piece of shit. He comes in to create contention for everyone. He doesn't like
I don't know who this motherfucker is, but guess what? You might get smoked. I'm sorry, Sig. My brother. Yeah, this motherfucker
few days. You know, Anthony Jeselnik is one of my favorite comedians right now. He's pretty funny. But I noticed his last 3 specials, he shitted on Christians heavily. So not just Christians, also pedophilia too. They made child abuse jokes and child rape jokes. And, you know, listen, I'm all for dark humor and comedy. I'm just being consistent. I'm cool. I'm okay with it because I understand it's just jokes. But what I don't like is the inconsistency of society. He can't talk about women. He can't talk about transgenders. He reached the surface just a little bit, but nowhere as near as he does with Christian and children. So it's just one of the things that stand out that we have a highly sensitive society to everything else that's appreciated, which is how we got in the first place. And I'll end on this. I love the culture of American Christianity because it allows us to be what we are. However, it's got so intolerant to the point where it's damn near fading away because people are allowed to get racist and shit, just like white people. So I think that shit needs to change, and Christians need to have a backbone stand up for their own religion. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, bro. Yeah, I agree, man. Like, I love my fellow Christians, man. Like I said, most tolerant religious group I've come across, man. But yeah, y'all gotta start standing up for yourselves, man. Y'all literally letting yourselves get shit on by these other fucking religions.
Right. So then when I'm doing that in your room, it's shitting on this man. Why am I getting treated like shit then?
Because you're shitting on a man. When you shit on a man, you're literally shitting on yourself. This is a barber shop. Somebody's got to clean it up.
Nah, because you got a piece of shit that is fucking being a piece of shit, man. That's open season. That's open season. Anybody can shit on.
Have you ever taken a shit and puked at the same time?
Anthony Jeselnik. He got a new one on Netflix. I think all his last 3 was on Netflix. He's really funny. He has the dark humor where he says his jokes doesn't come from certain angles. So all these jokes are really offensive. That's his style. But like I say, he doesn't touch certain groups. He doesn't really touch race much. Of course, women and definitely LGBT community.
You know, point of order, moderator. You said a moment ago that people don't give a shit about Israel. Oh, put me in your queue. Thank you very little.
You see this dude's PTR, it's like, what's up, man? Yo, don't kick me out, man. Don't kick Congress now. I mean, being disrespectful, yes, who the fuck is that? That shit was clear. Stab him back up, Congress, bro.
He did it himself.
Did you see those?
What's going on?
I didn't know who that was.
Hi, Bruce.
The secret I know, Congress.
Nice to meet you, man.
I shot this shit.
Are you doing okay, Bruce?
Oh, yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Doing some big stuff.
Good. I'm glad you're there.
Yeah, I'll be respectful. Just put me in your queue. Listen, all kinds of bullshit happens in the barbershop. It's next to the liquor store. And people come into that motherfucking barbershop trying to cause problems all the time.
The liquor store has been closed for what?
Now every good barbershop got a rack of fine vodka, fine brown liqueur, some Hennessy, some Courvoisier on the racks when I get my hair cut. Line it up! You gotta find a black barbershop to line it up. Can't find a barbershop to line up shit unless it's black. You need a real black barbershop. Hello? Hello? I was just going to ask you a question. You said people don't give a shit about Israel, but the truth is you can use anything as the center of your cause. So the politics of Israel and Jerusalem, it's in the Bible, and people love the Bible. There are Christian psychotics out there that can't let go of the great story. So I'm just saying, it's always going to come up no matter what. It's like a zit. You're like, oh God, I got an outbreak of Israel on my face. And it's going to happen because people still got zits because they don't know how to take care of the skin in that motherfucking barbershop. So I'm just saying, when you got to get a shave, you got to use an aftershave. And you got to keep that skin clean. If you don't keep that shit clean, your face is going to break out like a Jerusalem or like an Israel. I'm just saying. It's always going to happen. Hello?
Hey, what you join? I mean, where is this?
Yeah, what the fuck?
You ain't never been in a motherfucking black barber shop? You never had to get your shit lined and clean? You never had a service or a wedding you gotta get cleaned up for? Look at your best to the tens? Hello?
Why really, nigga? Like, why y'all just trolling? Y'all trolling?
Were you trolling?
Nah, man, I came in to get a clean up, man. I just need to get lined up. $20 with a tip, right? Hello? Did your prices change? No. You're angry.
You know what, Congressman? You should
Leave me alone. I'm happy. Leave me alone. I'm happy. You angry. Leave me alone. I'm happy. You angry. I can't have no conversation with you. You angry.
Listen. Y'all ran KP out. This is crazy. This is unbelievable, man. My boy KP took one for the team, Wallace. What are we gonna do, bro?
Wait, what happened?
This is good.
I literally just messed up.
Oh, and you passed out. Don't worry. I saved you. Yeah, I played Captain Save-A-Ho and I saved your ass from the
School. She was telling me about school.
From the onslaught of trolls dying to breed you. Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
You have that type of energy apparently.
What kind?
Bring the boys out to the yard.
Huh? How?
I told you, you passed out, you missed it. It's over. That's it. KP took the fall.
Okay, my brother said it was me.
Yeah.
No,
Somebody will catch you up.
Uh-oh. So that was the topic of conversation.
Okay, Rabbana Shalom. A little more astrology Kabbalah for you. At this point, I should make clear that this book is not about predicting the future or consulting the stars in order to see what the gods might have in store for us. To me, the rigidity of traditional astrology does not present an individual with the possibility of self-discovery or growth, whereby, to quote Jung, we can acknowledge oneself for what one by nature is, in contrast to that which one would like to be. Still, it does not negate the bulk of what astrologers have written. Rather, I am simply trying to inform the weary traveler, whose life is but a sojourn in this strange land, that there are many divergent teachings which hold specific pieces to the puzzle of self-exploration. No single art contains it all, modern astrology included. We know that humanity unconsciously taps into a vast collective unconscious or reservoir of all the knowledge and experiences of our species. This information is disseminated and interpreted in a multitude of ways, depending upon the philosophy, science, culture, language, history, location, and even climate of the particular people who are attempting to create a foundation for their gods and religions. Ironically, irrespective of where they may be situated, most cultures are saying the same thing if from a different point of view. It is easy to determine that whilst in one situation a particular belief might be twisted into something negative by local circumstance, in a different context the same problematic conviction will be expounded with clarity and grace. Astrological teachings are also rooted in the collective unconscious of humanity and dependent upon the school of thought to which the astrologer adheres, and are also filled with the accrued contradictions of centuries of interpretations. It is not my intention either to question or to defend the beliefs of the ancient cultures that portrayed the stars and planets as actual gods, who ruled over the various processes of nature, as a mundane king might rule over his subjects. My sympathies in that regard are firmly with Aleister Crowley, 1875 to 1947, who, when pondering the possible influences of the gods in occult matters, observed, "It is immaterial whether these exist or not. By doing certain things, certain results will follow." Students are most earnestly warned against attributing objective reality or philosophic validity to any of them. I believe strongly that this rule of thumb should be applied not only to magic, but also to astrology, and suspect that Jung too would concur. Of course, Jung clearly did not consider planetary forces to be actual living entities. He wrote that astrology, like the collective unconscious with which psychology is concerned, consists of symbolic configurations. The planets are the gods, symbols of the power of the unconscious. In other words, he saw the gods of ancient astrological mythologies representing influences behind archetypes, originating in our collective unconscious. To explain, Jung wrote, "The collective unconscious appears to consist of mythological motifs, primordial images, for which reason the myths of all nations are its real exponents. In fact, the whole of mythology could be taken as a sort of projection of the collective unconscious. We can see this most clearly if we look at the heavenly constellations, whose originally chaotic forms are organized through the projection of images. This explains the influence of stars as asserted by astrologers. These influences are nothing but unconscious, introspective perceptions of the collective unconscious. Even though the names might change and the myths may differ slightly, Jung firmly believed that the archetypal principles remain the same on account of their universality. In the course of this book, I plan to draw upon numerous ancient myths and beliefs in the hope some of might shed a light of understanding on the foundations of the rather difficult topic of astrology. In the discussions of astrology, members of the scientific community often deride the art and deny the possibility of a planet or other celestial object having any effect upon the life pattern of an individual. Some astrologers, on the other hand, maintain that you cannot scientifically analyze the invisible astral pull which celestial objects have upon us because they are too subtle. In this instance, the scientific community is probably closer to the truth. Planets have little or no influence upon us, although many astrologers, not really knowing the fundamentals of their own art, like to babble a seemingly unprovable defense. To clarify, let me remind the reader that, for example, when a magician or kabbalist discusses the sphere of Geburah and the tree of life, which is ruled by the planet Mars, classically acknowledge that he is not referring to the actual planet in the heavens, but rather the quality of Mars is found within ourselves. It is clear from Carl Jung's theories on archetypes that he too grasped this concept firmly. Aleister Crowley has given us a profound piece of wisdom concerning the next step to the correct comprehension of astrology when he wrote, "A proper understanding of the planets, and indeed of the universe itself, is only to be obtained by a knowledge of the doctrine of correspondence between the microcosm and the macrocosm." To appreciate what he suggests, we must return to one of the more unlikely of sources, the ancient mystical tradition known as Kabbalah. One of its most well-known symbols is the Atzchim, or the Tree of Life. It is identical to the Tree of Knowledge, of both good and evil. By eating its fruit, we can obtain gnosis, or hidden knowledge of the universe, and more importantly, ourselves. This symbol represents everything, both above and below, both externally and internally. In modern times, it has become a very favorable filing system for the expectations of magicians. At first, Judaic law did not have a specific diagram of the Tree of Life. Early Kabbalists placed all spiritual references like the 10 spheres or Sephiroth upon the backside image of a giant heavenly man whom they referred to as Adam Kadmon. Originally, there were no paths uniting these spheres. This backside image of Adam Kadmon not only referred to God, whose face was thought so powerful that no mortal could behold it and live, but was also the primordial man, or the image behind the germ of all creation. The second image was drawn upon the lesser Adam, or the first human being created in the image of God. The ancient Greeks referred to these two concepts in a more fluid, undefined fashion as the microcosm and macrocosm. The term macrocosm is from the Greek phrase makros, cosmos, the world. This can be read as referring to the Tree of Life as a symbol of our universe. Heavens above, and the entirety of God's kingdom. It is the objective universe, and those things outside our body, and in a sense, it is the primordial Adam. The word microcosm is from the Greek mikros kosmos, or little world, which can be interpreted as referring to the Tree of Life symbolically found in each one of us. This tree not only reflects our mundane body and all its functions, but is also a map of our human consciousness and spirituality. This is the image of the lesser Adam. Both trees are identical or mirror images of each other. It is said that God used the exact same blueprint to create everything from the most exalted to the most insignificant, and that to study any part thereof on one tree will reveal simply by analogy an identical fundamental principle on the other tree. In other words, what is found on one tree must be found on the other, and to know one tree is to know both. Thus the fundamental principle of all magic, as above, so below. Realizing this, astrologers must stop referring to actual heavenly objects as the source of influence, rather than universal movements that are a reflection of what is occurring internally within our own universe, or around our inner sun. Dane Rudyard is of similar opinion and further comments. It is not that the planets influence directly any particular person by flashing a special kind of array which will make the person happy or cause him to break his leg. The cycles of the planets and their relationship represent human reality in an ordered state and in reference to the greater whole, which we know as the solar system. Men are lesser wholes within this greater whole. Men can only find peace and lasting integration as they relate themselves in consciousness to the greater whole. In other words, a true astrologer sees universal movements knowing that we were made in the image of God, would understand that any and all movements of celestial objects are mimicked within our subtle anatomy or psyche. It is equally important to realize that even if you are a lowly turtle functioning off the lowest Kabbalistic sphere of Malkuth, or earth or human body, the entire tree of life is still found within yourself, and it must manifest all of its qualities in varying degrees every day in a continual struggle called life. It arguably is shown by our astrology chart not every part of the tree can manifest through this shell that we call the human body. Contrary to what some magical fraternities might have you believe, everyone does not have the same capabilities to traverse the internal tree, sphere by sphere. The importance of our birth chart is that it indicates both our strong points and the pitfalls that await us upon the tree of life. It shows us, first step, it is required in the voyage of self-discovery, and it teaches us an important lesson as to the role our body plays in determining our life and our self-discoveries.
Olga, Met, and Moran, welcome to the room, as well as Anan, our favorite person who always pops into the room. Anan. I don't understand how that happens, that there's so many people called Anan. Anyways, we're less than a minute away from discussing what's a very important issue. The question du jour is Iran looking for war? And in my opening several just seconds from now, at the top of the hour, I will explain why I chose this as our topic. Elle, welcome to the room. And we are now at the top of the hour. Welcome to the Critical Thinking Forum. We're here Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. New York time. Today's topic is Iran looking for war? Now, why would I ask that? Well, as we all know, the United States has moved two, the president calls them armadas of naval assets into the Middle East. They're in position to, if necessary, hey Scott, welcome to the stage, if necessary, to attack Iran, or if the president feels it's necessary, might be a better way of putting it. And this has caused for Iran to take it very seriously. They've said that if the United States were to attack, there would be a regional war that they would I guess, start. Whether these are comments that are worthy of our attention or whether it's just blustering by the regime, I have no way of knowing their capabilities. I suspect they would have difficulty expanding beyond the defense of their own borders and, of course, using it as an opportunity or excuse to fire more missiles into Israel, which I presume they would do. And Israel is taking that threat seriously as well, preparing communities for the possibility not only of missiles coming from Iran, but attacks coming from proxies, both from the north and from the south, because Hamas is still alive. Hezbollah is still alive. They are both weakened tremendously. And not just because of the efforts of the IDF, but the United States as well. But the threat still remains. And it's an asymmetric threat. And so it can't always be quantified in the manner that regular warfare might be. But on Friday, the Iranians and the Americans are actually going to negotiate, and this is what the president is hoping for. He's hoping that by moving all these military assets into the region, it brings Iran to the table and to its knees, and I don't know exactly what he wants to get out of this. I don't think he's going to get a revenge out of it. He might be successful in getting them to stop the massacre of civilians, or at least agree to. But you would think that if all the above is accurate, what I just articulated, and I believe that it is. Obviously, if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't say it. But I'm pretty sure that what I said is an accurate assessment of where we are today. The last thing that you would expect Iran to do on the precipice of this extraordinary meeting coming up in Turkey. By the way, they tried to get the location changed to, I think they wanted to go to, I forget which one of the Emirates, but they wanted to get, what's that? Oman. That's what I thought. Right. And I think that they felt maybe home field advantage if they do that. I don't know. But what the hell are they doing if, in fact, they're trying to avoid the president carrying out a threat against them? Because they shot a drone at one of our aircraft carriers. And they also went after a U.S. flagged oil tanker. So let me just read the top of one of the stories about the United States shooting down an Iranian drone approaching an aircraft carrier. Others have it now, but this is the first writing of it from Reuters. And the story begins: the U.S. military on Tuesday shot down an Iranian drone that aggressively approached the Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea, the U.S. military said, in an incident first reported by Reuters. Well, isn't that nice that you tell us that you first reported it? The incident came as diplomats sought to arrange nuclear talks between Iran and the United States, and U.S. President Donald Trump warned that U.S. warships heading towards Iran. Bad things would probably happen if a deal could not be reached. That's the beginning of that article. I could go on, but I don't think there's any need to. You get the point. The other one, this one comes from Euronews. I don't often get an opportunity to quote Euronews. So there were a lot of articles on this. I decided to grab Euronews. The headline is, U.S. flag tanker challenged by Iranian gunboats in Strait of Hormuz. And the story says, a U.S. flagged tanker was approached and challenged by Iranian gunboats in the Strait of Hormuz on Tuesday before continuing on its journey, a British maritime security firm said. Stena Imperative was approached by 3 pair of small armed boats belonging to Iran's Revolutionary Guards while transiting the Strait of Hormuz, approximately 30 kilometers north of Oman, according to Vanguard Tech. The vessel is now being escorted by a U.S. warship, the company said. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations, which gathers reports on threats to shipping, reported the incident and said authorities were investigating. Several small armed vessels attempted to contact the tanker via radio, but it ignored the request to stop and continued on its route. According to the UK MTO, the agency did not specify the nationalities of the boats involved in the incident. Now, that's because a boat's ownership, a ship's ownership, and how it is flagged can differ in terms of nationality. It was a U.S. flag oil tanker, and any oil tanker run by the Iranians in the Strait of Hormuz, even if no shots were fired, is an indicator, I think, on their part that they could, if they wanted to, close down the Strait of Hormuz, which is an implied threat that's always in place and one that's of great concern to international shipping, beyond what most people really understand the ramifications of. It is imperative, not just for the United States, but frankly for the world, that the Strait of Hormuz remains open to international shipping without being impeded by the Iranians. Now we know that the president is often playing both good cop and bad cop at the same time. And we know that this is his negotiating tactic. We've seen it how many times in the past. And we see it with the tariffs, where he throws these big tariffs and then the country targeted capitulates and they pull the tariffs back. And he gets derisively called a taco man for doing that because he keeps changing his mind. But it's not really that he's changing his mind, I don't think. It's his tactic. But here's the thing. I think this guy being the President of the United States, is willing to actually take the action that he is threatening if the use of the threat as a negotiating tool is unsuccessful. So why would you poke the bear in the manner in which the Iranians are? Why would you do that? It's one thing to do certain things and say certain things like these blustering pronouncements that, will go after the United States and will attack the United States on the homeland and will eradicate Israel and there'll be a regional war and all of this stuff. It's another thing to actually take action. And the Strait of Hormuz situation wasn't actually taking physical action against the oil tanker, but it was a provocation. And it comes at the same time that the drone attack was attempted. It may have just been one drone, and they may have been just sending one drone to once again send a signal to the United States, hey, we got a lot of these. And we know that they have a lot of them because they are the main supplier of the drones that are eviscerating Ukraine. And by the way, this past overnight in Ukraine, it was the largest drone attack this